Let's do this.
Say something, will you?
I'm waiting to see our face. That's what I'm saying. I never know when we start until our pictures show up. So, hello,
There you go.
everybody,
We can't even get started off. Here's a program that we just came right on the air, and he's just sitting there not saying not one word. Now he knows we're on the air, ladies and gentlemen.
No. But the microphone is muted during that video. They can't hear us until the microphone's.
Well, why?
Video
Well, they. Mine wasn't muted. You heard me.
No, I couldn't hear you.
If you didn't hear me, you couldn't be answering me back.
All right, I'm gonna stop talking to you. This is an average day with Teddy and I. Welcome to Wrestling's Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, Mac Davis, along with my WWE Hall of Famer co-host, Mr. Teddy Long. Teddy, I'm getting ready for St. Louis, brother.
Well, it's right around the corner, my man. That SICW Big Fan Fest there, Hall of Fame celebration, all kind of things are going to be going there. And this thing is, like I said, this is make my third year being involved with them, and this is getting to be bigger and bigger each year. Me and you both have had the opportunity to be there and watch this thing grow. So it's going to be real great this year. They got a lot of, old school guys that are going to be there and then put in the Hall of Fame guys that maybe didn't make it to the big one. But Herb Simmons is a guy that still thinks about him. So I feel like any Hall of Fame that you're inducted in, it means something.
Especially when you get into cities like St. Louis, who are so rich with wrestling history and wrestling at the Chase and other things that, that's a Hall of Fame you want to get into, including even the one that I do later on in the year in New York, in Albany, in the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. Two great, fantastic events. But I got to tell you, the SICW Fan Fest 3 in connection with the Hall of Fame is a hell of a weekend. It's a lot of fun. And like Teddy said, we've been there now since the inception. It's been 3 years. This will be our third event. And it's just getting bigger and better every single year. And when you can't go wrong when Herb Simmons is involved, we pat him on the back quite a bit, but he's one of those promoters who has been around for over 50 years and has treated the boys fair at every turn. That's hard to find in a wrestling promoter.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll mention this. I've heard of Herb Simmons all through my whole career. Well, I had never had an opportunity to meet Herb until, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and now I want to mention, he's also inducted and giving me the Lifetime Achievement Award. So what that tells me, here's a man that's been watching me that I didn't even know, you know what I mean? And he understands, and thought about me, and so how appreciative, can you be there? So, like I said, Herb Simmons giving me that Lifetime Achievement Award. And not only is just Herb, it's all the guys that I had the opportunity to work with over the years and, that made, welcome me into the wrestling world and gave me the opportunity to be a part of it. So,
I'm thinking one of those names, Teddy, too, that'll be there is Gerald Briscoe. He'll be that. There's so many guys that you worked with that know how you started into this business. And I think that's important when it comes to the Lifetime Achievement Award for you, because the way I see it, it's not just your wrestling career. When you say Lifetime Achievement Award and you mention Teddy's name, when you know his life and how he began in life and where he got, it is a true Lifetime Achievement Award. And Teddy, it's just one of the things that I'm so impressed by you, because I know some of the stories other people don't know. I know some of the stuff that you've been through. And so for me to see you, it's an honor for me to be there that night just to watch you get that award.
And I also want to mention this too. The first people that gave me the Lifetime Achievement Award was the people that run Dragon Con Wrestling.
Yep.
And those were the first guys there that gave me that award. So I do have that. In fact, I'm looking at it right now. So if I get a chance, I'll get it and show it to you. But Dragon Con Wrestling were the people who gave me the first Lifetime Achievement Award.
Very cool. They got an event coming up soon, don't they? Don't they have something?
Well, they're gonna Dragon Con. I wanted to kind of not mention my part this year because, we're trying to finalize a deal, and I'm not going to be with the wrestling company. I'm going to be involved with Dragon Con, so they're talking to me now, and so everything looks pretty good. But hopefully, I'll be able to give you the good news, and we'll start with it right here in Atlanta, right through I think it's the end of August, right through September.
Yeah, I want to say it's the very end of the summer. It's like one of those things that happens right around the holiday
Yeah.
every year, and so I can't remember what the holiday is. All right, let me bring up something here, Teddy. I saw this today. We talk about wrestling, but there's some other shows that hit the airwaves, some of which Dana White from UFC is involved in, and one of those is the Power Slap. Have you ever seen that, Teddy, where they stand there and slap one another over and over again?
Yeah, I've seen that.
What are your thoughts about Power Slap?
Well, I mean, I don't know, guys. People come up with gimmicks. People come up with things, that you haven't seen or you just wouldn't believe, people would do. And that attracts people. That attracts an audience. Plus, it makes money too because they can turn that into a match or whatever they want to do. But think about it. If you stood there and you're just slapping the guy for about an hour or so, somebody's going to go down.
I don't see how you put that kind of you put yourself in a situation of getting a concussion. I would think, how hard can you take a slap to the side of the head if they hit you where they're supposed to hit you? Because sometimes they can go a little high, they can go a little bit low, and they can really hurt you.
Well, that's a chance you got to take. That's like being in the UFC.
Yeah, I tell you what, they'd have to pay me a lot of money to stand there and let somebody just smack the shit out of me over and over again. I mean, and I don't know that I can slap them back any harder.
Well,
But the reason I bring that up is there's word now that a new season of Power Slap is coming up that may be involving wrestlers from WWE, AEW, TNA, and other organizations. You look, I always ask this question because you worked with Vince McMahon. So I'm just going to ask the question. When he was around, would anybody on his roster have gone over and attempted to be a part of Power Slap? Would he have allowed that?
No, I don't think so. Vince ran a tight machine, and in other words, you can't really blame him for that. I mean, if I've invested my money into this
Yes.
particular guy and he's working for me, then I can't see him going over here trying to help another company out. We're not that good of friends.
No, and also you got to look at it from an injury aspect too, because they can get concussions, and that's one of your guys, and now all of a sudden he's out with a concussion.
Well, the other thing too, and I, I hate to say it, they may work this too, but I don't see how you can. But you just never know.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Who knows? By the way, I saw where Trevor stopped by. This is somebody, Teddy, last week we talked about, and you wouldn't let me mention who this is. I'm going to tell you who this is. Have you figured it out yet who this guy is? We've worked with him time and time again. Look on the screen.
Who are you talking about?
Look on the screen.
Trevor's Dumas?
Skrilla the Great.
Okay, Skrilla. Well, I didn't know that, but I didn't never know his shoot name.
Yeah. It was funny because we were laughing about that last week because you kept giving a shit, and I was trying to tell you who it was, and you kept cutting me off. So it's good to see you back in the room, Skrilla. Look here, one of the up and coming talents in Georgia. We talk about him. We talk about Shoot Taylor. There are guys like this that are in the Georgia Indies. If you have not booked them, you're missing out because this is good talent. You'll get good talent at a good price. So make sure you contact either Shoot Taylor or Skrilla the Great. Just like I say, I mentioned just a couple of guys in the state of Georgia that are really good.
And I'm gonna throw Randy Reno's name in there with these guys too, man. He's another great talent if you guys like the book and buddy. Randy Reno, another great guy. But Skrilla, my man, I just didn't know your shoot name, man. But he's got a good attitude, man. Great guy to work with, man. Just as nice as he can be. So thanks for joining us, player.
Yeah, Skrill has been one of the guys I've kept up with from the start of his career to where he is now. And I'll send him a text from time to time, just kind of encouraging what he's doing because I believe in him. I think he's somebody that needs to be seen on a larger scale than we're seeing right now.
You believed in me, and look what happened.
Yeah. Oh, well, don't blame me for that. Zach Minger. Hey, Mac and Teddy, how are you? I'm doing good, Zach. Teddy, how about you?
Zach, I'm just saying hello to you and hope you're having a nice day. I'm just dealing with Mac, and it's y'all just don't know, man. This man here.
You just wait. You just wait until we end up getting together next weekend when we're in St. Louis. nothing good comes out of that. We'll be invading the Krispy Kreme or something around that area because
Yeah.
we always get off and have some kind of
Let's
fun
holler
stuff.
at Steve Morris right there. He's saying something about will WWE ever release Charlotte Flair. How would I know? I got nothing to do with that. Why would you ask me that question?
Well, maybe he thought you had some inside information. Here's the thing. I don't think they'll
I don't
ever.
got no outside information, let alone inside information.
Let's see. What else do we have here? I want to bring up Becky Lynch recently making a comment, and it was kind of in jest when she was saying this during an interview. But she was talking about Bailey, saying she's not a good person. And here's what she said. She said, quote, "Why is anybody acting like me and Bailey are best friends? I've not liked that woman, maybe like a month here or there, but then either I'm going to turn on her or she's going to turn on me because we don't gel. Bailey is so confused about this that she's probably paying $100 per month to have her best friend text her." Now, Teddy, I don't know if you know what that means. Do you?
No, I don't.
Mercedes Moné over in AEW is now offering a texting service where her fans can now text her for $99.99 per month, $100 per month, and you can have access by texting Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné. Your thoughts?
I has no thoughts. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is their thing now, man. So, like all these different sites, OnlyFans and all that. So a lot of this stuff is going on, and the girls are making money. So I can't knock them, man. If you can make the money, go ahead, go ahead. I'm with you 100%.
I just can't see anybody in their right mind spending $100 a month to send a text and maybe get a text back from, we assume not a bot, but the actual Mercedes Moné.
You don't feel that way, but it's a whole lot of people that do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of people who spend a lot of money, and WrestleMania was a good example of that because people spent a ton of money at WrestleMania.
They didn't make millions this time; they made billions.
Also, before we get into your questions, more questions, and as well as the email, I want to bring up something about Bill Goldberg. Recent reports are saying that WWE now is looking at Bill to come back in to the company to run an angle, and he's been said to be back in the gym and working out. And the last time we saw him, Teddy, I don't know if you remember this, but it was in Atlanta at Bad Blood, where he shared this moment with Gunther, where they kind of had this look, a real tense moment between the two of them. I'm wondering, is it possible that we might see Goldberg show up this weekend during the match between Gunther and Pat McAfee?
Well, I think that would be the right thing to do. I mean, let's listen to me. Pat McAfee, I love him to death. What a great guy on the microphone.
Yes.
I haven't seen him do little stuff in the ring yet. I haven't had a chance to see that. But
he's not that bad.
Well, good. Well, but for him managing or being somebody's spokesman, he is number one for that. But it would mean more to have Goldberg show up, maybe especially when maybe the guys when the Gunther is getting the best of McAfee.
Yes.
Okay, what I mean when I mean this, I mean pounding on him, pounding. I mean because Gunther's taking advantage because McAfee's really not a seasoned wrestler. So I do something right there where he's got McAfee going. I mean, he's about to take him, maybe signals for something, goes for it, and here comes Goldberg.
Yeah, I'd like to see Goldberg come in, and I think it'd be a great matchup between the two. And they did throw, a little hint out there that something may be coming in the future between Gunther and.
I think the hint is this. I've seen stuff on social media where you look now, it's like Instagram and everywhere, it's Goldberg. So
yep.
They ain't just putting that out there for nothing.
Now, I'm also wondering, are they going to let him be a part of the spear campaign? Because I still say Braun Breaker needs to be the only person using that spear, and and they even teased Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker at one point, with the spear. I'm wondering if you bring in Goldberg, do you let him be a part of that and take him out of the equation of the best spear? Because Jacob Fatu, not Jacob. No. Who am I thinking of now? Damn it. Braun Breaker needs to be the only person that is using that move before it's all said and done. So it's a true finisher by Braun Breaker. Would you agree?
Well, maybe that's your story. The story may end up in the end between Goldberg and Braun Breaker.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Maybe
guys.
that will maybe be maybe Goldberg's retirement.
If you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is leave a comment down below, and we'll throw it up on the screen and talk about it. In the meantime, we're going to tell you more about SICW, and we'll come right back with the mailbag. SICW Fan Fest 3 is almost here. Meet your favorite wrestling superstars. May 16th and 17th, St. Louis. Get up close and personal with wrestling legend. SICW.org. Come on, do it right now. SICW.org. Don't wait. Make plans May 16th and 17th at the Hilton St. Louis Airport. SICW Fan Fest 3.
Letters, oh we get letters, we get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
All right. I can't hear you.
Can you hear
There
me now?
you go. Yeah.
Okay, I can't hear you though.
Well, you brought yourself right in. I don't know. Everything look, huh?
Hang tight for just a second, Taylor. Let me reset just to make sure it's not an issue. Okay, I can hear you now. All right.
I hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Melody, Melody Live TV, brother. Melody writes, have you ever been asked to be a part of Dark Side of the Ring?
Yes, I was on the episode with Junkyard Dog when they were talking about him. I was part of that episode. Somebody else too I did on that. I can't remember who that was, but I've been a part of the for at least a couple of the episodes.
Have they ever approached you about focusing one show on you? And I don't know what that would be, but
I did talk to them last year. I forget what month it was. One of the ladies called me from there, and we did something over the phone. We did do a video and talking about stuff. So I don't know whether they're going to use that or not, but they did call me, and I think we did talk about 30 minutes, but we did film it.
Very cool. All right. Our second question from Stevie B. Did the use of drugs and alcohol taper off as the business grew?
Well, I don't know what you mean when you say taper off as the
I guess he
business
means was it
grew.
used less? Did people stop using it so much? And
It doesn't. That's not how drugs work. Okay, when you get hooked on drugs, you're gonna use as much as you can and every day you can. It don't work like, well, I'm in the business now. I guess I was doing $500 worth, but I'm in the WWE now. I'll cut back. I'll only do $200 worth.
Yeah.
No, it don't work like that. The drugs basically control you. So anybody that was able to get off of it, you know what I mean? God bless them.
Now, I heard the days early on back in the NWA and early WCW that it was prevalent in the back, different things that would go on in the back. I would imagine, though, as you got towards WWE, especially when they went public, and that you didn't see any sign of anything like that backstage.
No, nothing like that at all. And like I said, back then it was real strict. They was, finding you for smoking marijuana, man. I know some guys, well, I was one of them, got fined $1,000, for smoking a joint. So yeah, they're really cracking down on it.
Now, when you got hit with that fine, who were you smoking? Was it worth the payment, or you know what I'm saying? I know you've smoked with a couple of big names, so
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, when you know what I mean. When
yeah.
you know when you're not doing too bad, and you make a little bit of money, and you're kind of able to pay the fine. But that was a lot of money to pay,
Oh
for
yeah.
smoking a joint. I mean, yeah. That was too much. But at the time, man, you're doing all right, and you just trying to keep on going.
All right, let's see. Joey 77. Hey Joey, who's going to be John Cena's last match against? Teddy?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Maybe it'll be Freddy Krueger.
Would you like to see him go out putting a young talent over, or going out maybe even winning? I don't think he will, though. I think John may end up on his back like he should once he's finally finished in the ring. But should it be a young guy, or should it be one of the vets that he's known for years?
Well, I would pass it along to one of the young guys, a guy
Yeah.
that's going to be coming, just breaking in, and got a great career ahead of him. You know what I mean? And what about laying down for him? It's not real. So, but leave the guy strong, and give him something, to go in with, because that's where it used to be. When you left the
Yep.
territory, you put the guy over, he beat you 1, 2, 3, go, and you went right on to the next territory. There no guys argue about that back then. Because
No.
they know it ain't real. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm gone. So what's
Yep.
the deal?
All right, let's see. We have Isaiah who writes in and says, I read an article that suggests The Rock and Triple H have had real heat over the years. Back when they were both performing, did they not get along?
I just only heard rumors of that. I never seen them pass any words or among each other or nothing like that. But that's just rumors you hear backstage and stuff. So I don't really know. I can't speak on that.
I think a lot of times too, when we talk about the Attitude Era, one of the things that we mention quite a bit is that the roster back then was deep. I mean, you had a great roster, and they were all wanting that top spot because they were all that damn good. So there may have been a lot of competition back then. They came across looking like they may not like one another, but the truth is, it's professional. It's, of course you want to get better than somebody else, and you eventually want to make more money and go up the ladder. And that means sometimes that you may not always see eye to eye with the person you're working with, right?
I look at it like this. Why can't we all just get along?
Yeah, it'd be nice. All right, let's see. Samantha with another. Now, this is one of those name associations, Teddy. So get ready. By the way, if you have a question you want to get in here before we leave out of here, we do this for about 30 minutes. You can get those questions into us right now, and we'll throw them up on the screen. But in the meantime, Teddy, let's do some name association. Samantha, she sends these in from time to time. The first one, I'm not sure about. Balls Mahoney.
Yeah, I remember him from ECW.
Yeah,
About Balls Mahoney. Yeah. What about Balls?
anything you can tell us about Balls and memory or anything?
Oh, he was real. He was just a real comical guy, real funny and stuff, man. I enjoyed being around him. I did get a chance to meet him for a while, but he was a real funny guy.
The other name I know you probably have an opinion about. He's from back from the old days, Barry Windham.
Oh yeah. Had a chance to see him a couple of weeks ago in Indianapolis at that wrestling fan fest there. Yeah, worked with Barry. I tell you what, back when I was refereeing, I worked with Barry Windham. I refereed Barry Windham and Brad Armstrong in Spartanburg, South Carolina. They went 30-minute Broadway through. When I got back, every piece I had on was soaking wet. I was like people that poured water on me and drowned me because it was in that little Coliseum, and you know how hot it is.
Oh, yeah.
But I did a 30-minute Broadway with Brad Armstrong and Barry Windham.
Man, and both great workers, too. So I can just imagine that.
And I had to go, with them, you got to move.
Yeah, and I've said this for anybody who's a referee watches this, Jimmy Corderas, Mike Chioda, any of those guys. I have said since I got into independent wrestling years ago that the overlooked person in the ring is the referee, because they are in there. When two guys go in there for a match, we're going in there for one match, whatever 18-minute match, whatever it may be. the referee in some cases, like in Teddy's case, when you first started getting into the NWA, you were the only referee. So you had to get up and down, and that is a lot of work for a person who's never, if you've never been in the ring, you will never understand, but it is very difficult to move around and not get tired out before the night's over. All right, let's see. The next one on here, Teddy, is X-Pac.
Oh, real nice guy. Real nice guy. Sean, I always enjoy, having a conversation with him. I saw him also in Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago, man, and he was signing, and I didn't want to stop him, so I looked at him and just waved, and he wouldn't let me do that. He grabbed me and brought me in for a hug. So, yeah, Sean has always been a nice guy too.
Is he still in great shape? Because the last time I saw him, he looked really good,
man. Yeah, he looked great. Yeah.
Here's one that I'm curious about. Umaga.
I hadn't seen Umaga in quite a while. I think the last time I spoke with him as I was running that company out in Texas, SEW, I believe.
Now, now Umaga's not with us anymore, is he?
Oh God, yeah. Now, God, I'm confused. Okay,
that's all right. That's all right.
But still, I had a chance to meet him too. It was great. He was always great too, man.
I hope you didn't see him last weekend. If you did, we need to talk to him.
Yeah. Oh, but I was thinking about. I did see one of those Samoan guys there. Okay, Umaga. Now I got it. I remember him.
As a matter of fact, one of those.
I met his son at the Booker T show when the last time I worked out at Relative Wrestling was at Booker T, and Booker was using him. I think they put the belt on him that night.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Let's see. I'll get some questions coming in live here too. Zach. Hey, Zach. Teddy, next weekend is the Big Fan Fest 3. So who is the wrestler that you are looking forward to seeing again? I hope we get to hang out again too. I still appreciate the circle with you and Papa.
February the 3rd. Where's that fan fest at?
No, he's talking about this is Zach. He'll see us in St. Louis.
Oh, okay, in St. Louis. Okay, I'm reading this thing. They said, okay, now I got you. Okay. And he wants to know who am I, what wrestler?
Hang on for just a minute.
What are you doing?
Hey, Bear. Yeah. Look here. Did Teddy hang out with you today or something? Yeah, because he can't remember shit. Yeah, I'll tell you more about it later. All right, Godfather, see you.
So you gonna call Godfather up and try to drop some kind of hint now to tell the people that I'm intoxicated or I'm not here.
I'm just asking if you were hanging around him. Oh, but that's one of his favorite things too, is when you had your back turned to the camera.
Well, listen, anytime you're at a fan fest, you got to go see Godfather. Once you go see Godfather, you have the greatest day of all. I'm telling you.
Hey, look, in St. Louis too, we'll see Rikishi. Rikishi will be there, so that's going to be a lot of fun to see him. I haven't seen this.
I saw him. He was in Indianapolis. I had a chance to talk with him. Junior. See, nobody don't really know that name.
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask him this coming week. Next weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Zach saying Umaga is hands down the greatest Samoan, and personally my favorite Samoan. I loved Umaga. I liked the package on how they did him. They had, who was the guy that came out with him? Was it I can't remember his name. He used to have a hat and a cigar, and he'd come out and man, if somebody remembers,
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember. I know exactly who you're talking. He's the guy that he was the GM for ECW, and then I went in behind him.
Yeah, he can use a microphone, which was good.
Yeah.
He was capable of doing that. He did a great job with Umaga. He just made him into a monster. We need more managers like that. I still say there we go. I knew somebody was going to throw this X with Alejandro Estrada. That's who it was, and he'd come out and always do his opens. I love that. Let's see. Bye-bye. Chris, hey, C-Dub. I was on a podcast with Godfather. Made him laugh. Well, I bet. Chris is actually kind of a crazy guy anyhow. All right, let's see. Here's a couple more names for us to go through. Stevie Richards.
Great guy. He's an exercise nut too now. I met him one morning. He had me doing some stuff with him. We was in the hotel, so it wasn't no gym. I forget where we were, but he had me get up and run the stairs in the hotel. So we was going up and down the floors and stuff. I'm telling you, I did that with him. He's a real nut too for the exercise. But he was always, you ever seen him? He was always lean, man, in great shape and everything, man. I love Stevie. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he always looked like he kept his health up. Even to this day, he's got a podcast now.
Yeah,
And his
he
podcast
was
is
running
very
the
popular.
hotel stairs, brother. I'm telling you now.
Wow. All right, here's a couple more names. The next one, Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, yeah, I worked with Scott for a long, long time. And I'll say this too. A lot of people, when Scott Hall went to WWF and he would start doing the gimmick, Seman or something that Boogie Arms or something that talked, whatever he started doing that. I'll tell you how that started because I was with him. It was me, him, and Nick Patrick. And Nick Patrick will tell you this story. We were in Oakland, California, and we was in there after we went to the gym there, the Gold's Gym in Oakland. So when we get in the gym there, we walk in, and so there's this guy, this little midget guy. He's just bucked. I mean, he's jacked all up, and he's walking around, and he's just fucking with everybody. And he looks over at people, and oh, say, man, get them boogie whip arms. Come on, get them like these, man. So Scott Hall started mocking him. Okay, I'm telling you, because he was so funny,
Yep.
and I swear Scott took that to TV, and that's where that accent come from. Yo, man. I'm telling you, Nick Patrick will tell you that story.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right, one more name, and then we're out of here, Teddy. Kelly.
Kelly, yeah, she was real nice. Always had a good attitude about the business, smiled and laughed with everybody. She wasn't one of them walking around all stuck up.
Yep.
She was herself, and she was nice to be around.
All right, Teddy, we got to pick a winner for the CD for a free T-shirt, a Road Trip After Hours T-shirt. And who is that going to be tonight?
Well, I think I'll give that shirt to the young man that wanted to know something about refereeing. What was that up at the beginning about the refereeing?
Let's see who's going to be John Cena's last match. Who's going to release? Will anybody release Charlotte Flair? I don't see anything about a referee in here. Again, I swear, I think you've been hanging out with Godfather today.
Well, he lives in Vegas, and I live in Sandy Springs, Georgia. So I'd like to know how am I going to communicate back and forth like that?
I'm trying to see.
I tell you why I have my own.
You have your own.
Yeah. I tell you what, just give a T-shirt to whoever you want to give it to.
Okay, we'll give that to let's see, the Dark Side of the Ring question. How about that one?
Let's do that.
I thought that was a good one. That's right. Melody. So Melody, I'll be in touch, and we'll send you out a Road Trip After Hours T-shirt. Which, by the way, Teddy, new design, possibly next weekend.
Okay, well, that's good there. And Melody, when you get that T-shirt, be sure to put it on and let everybody know where you got it from.
Yes, absolutely. And let's see, we got one more question from the listeners here. Zach popping in. What do you think has changed the most about storytelling in wrestling? And what do you think today's performers could learn from your era?
Well, I don't think really, nothing. Well, there's some things that have changed,
Oh, there's a shitload of stuff that have changed. It's just different product now.
Yeah, I know, but golly, I hate to just try to take away everything, but I mean, everything is really pretty much gone, It's a brand new era now. And and the other thing at the bottom there, where you were saying, what do you think guys could learn from people in the attitude era? You could learn a whole hell of a lot. Because when the attitude, well, I was even before the attitude era. Okay, so you think I don't know what's been going on all these years? I just know how to keep my mouth shut and my ears open. So that's how you play this game. So like I said, man, a lot of things have changed, and I think it's changing for the best. Guys have got a place to work. They're making good money now. So God bless them.
All right, Joey popping in saying, Teddy, player. I want to make sure we just mention everybody in the room before.
All right, Joey, holla, player.
And Chris saying, Teddy, did you use any of Godfather's devices? He has that damn vacuum thingy.
No comment.
All right, guys, we'll be back again next week. Be our show just before we get to St. Louis, and we hope you'll join us live next Thursday night, 7:00. Teddy and myself will be right here, and we hope we'll see you here as well. Teddy, I'll see you next time.
And we're going to be doing some live stuff right there too from St. Louis too. We're going to get some stuff that we'll be shooting out to the fans and everything, letting them know how things are going.
Yeah, we have a good time doing that. That's one of the things we enjoy when we do these things. So we'll see you next week. Make sure you get subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done that already, subscribe and also hit that notification bell. That way you'll know every time we go live. You'll be right there with us. All right, Teddy, I'll see you next time.
And if you don't do what Max said, it's one-on-one.